Good morning, everybody. Taylor here with y'all 106.7. Today, I'm joined by country music singer, songwriter, and incredible, talented human, Mr. Tom Douglas. Welcome to y'all 106.7.
Good morning. Thank you.
Good morning. And I didn't give you the proper introduction because you are an Academy Award, Golden Globe, and Grammy-nominated songwriter. So there you go.
When that means nominated, that means that you've lost an Academy Award, a Golden Globe, and lost a Grammy. So that's when they say nominated, that's what that really means.
Glass half full mentality over here. That is really, really cool. Today we're here to talk about your residency at Neon Steeple at Chiefs on Broadway.
Yeah.
You're playing there this Thursday, September 26th, but you play there pretty often, you were telling me.
Well, we've been doing a residency there. So this will be my third show this coming Thursday night at 7 p.m. And it's if you've never seen the venue, it's truly remarkable. Right down in the midst of Broadway and the chaos and the beautiful noise of Broadway and this 6-story building that Eric Church and his partners reconstructed. I mean, there's cool stuff on each floor, but on the third and fourth floor, there is this mini Ryman. It's like a 300-seat auditorium with stained glass windows and church pews, and it's a very intimate setting. So if you get to see any show down there, you'll enjoy it.
It's gorgeous down there. The attention to detail. It is, you said it best, a mini Ryman. That's exactly what it feels like.
It's the attention to detail. I mean, we kind of pull the curtains back and see, even in the room, kind of the green room where we are, and man, the attention to detail, even down to the micro details, is pretty cool.
Well, you're a one-man show, so if I'm buying a ticket to your show, what can I expect? Because I think I'm going to hear some hits, huh?
You will hear some, you'll hear some of my most popular songs, and so my one-man show is called Love Tom, and it really is kind of the byline is it's a letter of hope to a desperate world. But the one man, and it's about an hour show, but it's stories and songs. But it really started because I was inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame in 2014, and I gave a 12-minute induction speech. And I got so much comment over that speech over the years that in 2018, with my son, we kind of blew it up into an hour performance. So it is And I guess the kind of the genesis of my speech and also the one-man show is I do talk to a lot of young songwriters, and this performance is really just a letter of hope, trying to tell them why they're so important. Mm-hmm. And in the end, the reason why you as a songwriter, Taylor, are so important is because I'm going to need your songs, I'm going to get lost, and I'm going to need your songs to help me find my way back home. So that's why we need each other's creativity.
Yeah, well, congratulations on being inducted into the Hall of Fame. That's a huge accomplishment, and I love that you're continuing to pass it on. You're helping the next one in line with sharing what you've learned so far.
Yeah, well, that's a real joy. I mean, it is a torturous, desperate, difficult struggle every twist and turn along the way. It really will beat you down. So if anything, my performance of Love Tom, it's in a sense just to validate the struggle, how difficult it is, but also to kind of come alongside you and hopefully give you a little hope and encouragement as to, kind of have how to navigate this day and get you to the next song.
Well, we can't wait to see it. Love Tom, Neon Steeple at Chiefs on Broadway. There is more information online at chiefsonbroadway.com. Tom, I want to talk about the songs that you have written that we keep referencing. I mean, we've got Collin Raye, Tim McGraw, Miranda Lambert, Martina McBride, Lady A. I mean, the list goes on and on. But something that I found interesting about your story, did you move to Nashville and then leave and then come back?
Yes,
when you decided to pursue this?
It is a circuitous route for most of us to Nashville. So I came here when I was 27 in 1980, was here for 4 years, got nothing going in terms of traction in my songwriting career. I met a lot of great people, but I really wasn't prepared to be here. And so I left in 1984. I got married. Tried to leave the songwriter behind. I reinvented myself as a real estate broker, and I moved to Dallas for 13 years. and tried to quit songwriting. I did. I tried to leave it behind, but it kept sneaking up on me somehow. So finally, in 1993, 9 years after I left, I got my first country song recorded, and I was 41. So again, I tell that in the Love Tom story, and I really say that just to encourage everybody, because I'm always older than anybody else in the room, and I'm like, hey, you're actually right on time. Nashville is at least a 10-year town. Mm-hmm. We all try to short-circuit it and circumvent it, but...
So when you got that first, was it Collin Raye? That was your first,
was
Little Rock?
Yes.
You earned a nomination for CMA Song of the Year for that.
Yeah.
You weren't living in Nashville when you got that cut?
No, I still stayed in Dallas in the real estate business for another 4 years because I don't really trust the music business. It's it's a beautiful business, but it's hard to put your hopes and dreams and aspirations. So you got to be careful to do that. So I started coming to Nashville 1 week a month in '93, and I did that for 4 years, and then moved my family here in '97.
Mm-hmm. That is such an inspirational story because you said it best, a 10-year town. I feel like a lot of people, they move here, and then when it's not happening, they give up. But you kept fighting, and you knew that inside of you was a songwriter, and that's the path that you were supposed to be on. So you didn't give up.
Well, it's kind of semantics, but I mean, I have thought about this a lot. It's somewhere between not giving up and surrendering. Actually, I kind of surrendered to what I thought a songwriter was or what I hoped to get out of it or writing a hit. And I really just surrendered back to the God-given gift of creativity that God gave me to, like, nothing probably will ever happen with this from a commercial standpoint. Mm-hmm. And I kind of surrendered. I'm okay with that. But I do want to just enjoy it again. I'd lost my love of creativity and writing and even music. So I kind of surrendered all that to God, and, he kind of gave it back to me.
There you go. And how did that song come across Collin's ear?
Yeah,
how did he find it?
I did go to songwriter seminars, and I went to a Nashville Songwriters Association seminar in Austin in the summer of '93. I reconnected with Paul Worley, who was with Sony Publishing at the time, at a seminar, and he was kind enough to take a cassette of a song. You're too young to even know what a cassette is, Taylor.
No, I know.
But he took a cassette, listened to it, called me a couple of weeks later, said, I think I'm going to run with a couple of these songs and just see if we can get a little traction. And miraculously, Paul got the song to Collin Raye, and the rest is The
history.
rest is a mystery.
We play it on our station. We play 80s, 90s, early 2000s.
Yes, I know. I love your playlist, and that's some of the best country music going.
Oh, well, thank you for listening. So that's something coming from you a little bit newer than the 80s, 90s. The House That Built Me, Miranda Lambert.
Yeah.
One of my favorite Miranda songs. It is, so powerful. Can you tell me a little bit about when you wrote that?
Alan Shamblin, my co-writer and friend, and I were in Sundance, Utah, and it was 2002. His family was out there. My family was out there for a songwriters round. And Alan came in a restaurant one morning, and he said, what if we wrote a song not about the houses that we build, but the house that built me? And really, when Alan said that, the earth turned on its axis, clicked back 3 steps, the water froze in the pictures. I mean, it was like, I knew it was an avalanche of an idea just when he said it. And I begged Alan not to mention the house that built me, those 5 words, until we got back to Nashville and got back. Alan had written 4 verses. I'd written 3. We put our first draft together. It was 10 minutes long. We demoed it. We turned it into the publisher, and their response was cool, which in Nashville is code speak for we will never, ever listen to that song again. So over the next 7 years, Alan and I kind of worked on other songs, but it took us. We didn't really finish the song until 2009. Wow. And then we demoed it again. And the song, in all fairness, was much better. It was more economical. It was. We actually had too much information. We had to streamline it. Mm-hmm. So we did that, and the siren screamed, the angels sang hallelujah, and Miranda Lambert sang it.
7 years you sat on that idea.
Yeah, I mean, we would talk about it occasionally, and then in 2009, we really printed off all the lyrics, kind of dusted it off, and we looked at it. We really excavated it and really realized, okay, we've got too much stuff, and so and we didn't honestly, the hook of the song is the house that built me, but the setup line. What's the setup line for the hook? If I can just come in, I swear I'll leave. Won't take nothing but a memory from the house of memory. We didn't have that until the very end, the setup line, which is often as important as the hook itself. So once we had that, the whole thing honestly kind of fell into place.
Even just the verses. I mean, little back bedroom where I play my guitar, my handprints. Like, I can relate to that. I know so many people can, the imagery of that song. If you haven't cried listening to that song, you're lying, because you know that you have. I definitely have. That's just so powerful.
Thank you.
Wow. Well, you continue to pass your knowledge on, like we were talking about. I want to talk about Substack. You were saying you're almost kind of teaching a course in a way. It's called a Songwriter's Manifesto. Tell me a little bit about that.
Thanks. There's a cool app called Substack that is, they aggregate all types of content, blogs, vlogs, books, recipes. I mean, it's this compendium of all kind of cool content. So I have written lots of books, fiction, nonfiction, but this newest one is called A Songwriter's Manifesto. And I realized not too long ago that I didn't think my songs that I was writing today are as good as the ones that I was writing 30 years ago. And I looked back and I realized that there are some critical 10 steps to writing a song. And it's really just a songwriter's checklist. And so I just kind of comprised this list of the 10 steps, the 10 things that you should do really every time you co-write. And it helped me immensely. I went back and looked at my songs that had been most successful, and I realized that I had followed that checklist on those songs, and the other 2,000 songs that have not been recorded, I really failed that checklist along the way. I mean, obviously, with an airline pilot, the first thing they do when they get in the cockpit is every time they fly, even if they've been flying for 20 years, they have a checklist that they go down. So this is really just a simple checklist that I think helps keep the co-write, the creative process on track. And I'm just kind of putting it out there and interested in people's response. It's nothing groundbreaking, but it's kind of so obvious that we tend to forget some of the most simple
back to the
steps.
basics. Yeah.
I mean, obviously one is if you have a great idea, you might write a great song. If you don't have a great idea, you will not write a great song. So one of the steps is just talking about how to spend time finding that idea and being relentless with it and not going on until you really feel like you got a solid idea. So it's kind of basic stuff like that, but
that people forget about that they need to know.
I do. I mean, I'm preaching to the choir here.
Well, I cannot wait to dig into that.
Well, thanks.
But you're just a man of many talents. You also have a film. Let's talk about that. Love, Tom on Paramount Plus.
Well, it started on Paramount Plus, and it came out in 2020, and now it's, they moved these
Amazon
songs.
Prime. Yep.
But that's where it did start. So they were kind of our creative partner. And again, it started with the Hall of Fame speech, and then I created this live performance. A brilliant director from Ireland named Michael Lennox saw my live performance and said, I know how to make a movie out of that. So we made a movie really based on the live performance, which is now again doing the live performance at Chief. So it's kind of coming full circle. But yeah, it's a pretty cool film. People think it's a documentary, but again, it's my letter of hope to a desperate world and a desperate songwriter. And it was certainly a fun project.
That is very cool. Do your kids, are they songwriters as well?
Yes, everybody in my family is somewhat creative. My son just had his film in the Nashville Film Festival, and it won an audience award. It's called One Last Touch. My daughter is a songwriter. My son-in-law is a songwriter. So
I wonder where they get that from.
I know it. I wish somebody had a legitimate job in radio or life insurance.
Hey, this is not a bad day at the office today, what we're doing. Well, when you look at the rest of, 2024 is almost over now. Yeah. So maybe when we look at 2025, what do we have? Because it seems like you're always doing something new.
Well, I love writing songs. Every day I get to write a song is truly it's a gift. So, I try to keep the mindset of I get to write a song, which it's not always easy to keep that. Anything can become a grind, and what we do is very difficult. But, really it's just hands on the wheel, looking down the road and doing the next thing. So it all, in the beginning, God created, and we're just continuing that creative process today. So it's books, we have new performances that we've done. So there's always something popping out there.
Always. And I think that is a huge thing. You change the word have to I get.
Yes.
Changes your whole mindset.
It really does. And that, again, I know it sounds cliche, and it's not easy to, again, that's pretty simple concept, but it's so easy to wake up and think, man, I have to, no matter what we do. But it's a privilege.
It is. You've been dropping wisdom on me this whole interview, but I do like to usually I love to ask people, if you had to give advice to either your younger self moving to Nashville or someone new moving to Nashville to pursue music, what would you say to them?
I would say read great books of fiction. I would say read To Kill a Mockingbird, read East of Eden, read The Great Gatsby. If you go to your high school English reading list and you read those books, it will elevate your lyric writing, particularly your storytelling, immensely. And just really reading great books. I don't think you need to read books on songwriting. I wouldn't even read my own book on songwriting. But if you're going to spend time doing something, I would just, the classics, Hemingway, F. Scott Fitzgerald. I'm reading, Tolstoy now. I like it. It doesn't matter. It's just great books really help you write and be more creative.
That's a great one. Thank you for sharing that. And thank you for hanging out with us
Thank
today
you,
at Y'all 106.7. We cannot wait to see you at Chiefs this Thursday, September 26th. And don't forget to check out his residency, Love Tom, and also Songwriter's Manifesto, available on Substack. Tom Douglas, y'all.